We all need food, clothing, and shelter to survive. That's something that links us all. Urban Cloth Project has been about how we can grow fiber for wearing in a city, as well as finding fibers that are already growing, the plants that are around us, whether they're invasive or introduced or native species. What are the plants and what can we do with them that might lead us back to our roots of clothing? Cloth is something that comes from the land. It comes from animals, silkworms or different kinds of sheep, or it comes from plants such as flax or cotton. I think clothing and cloth is something that we really connect to our social history. One of our very first technologies was string technology. Eventually, a drop spindle was created that sped up that process. That's approximately 6,000 years ago. More and more, we've outsourced and learned how to simplify a process and make it faster, make it cheaper. And that has devolved to the point where we're so removed from what we're clothed in. We cycle through fashion cycles so quickly, we dispose of clothing so quickly because there's no awareness for what it is. I work with invasive plants primarily, but more so now even other early agricultural crops that settlers brought in, such as flax for linen. We had 3 different locations that we worked out of. Hastings Urban Farm, the Means of Production Garden where we grow artist crops, as well as Trillium North Park. We had flax growing at various sites for linen. We also did a lot of foraging of stinging nettle, of Himalayan blackberry, of fireweed. There was some milkweed. There were also different perspectives with the key artists that were involved. Mirae Rosner, who led from the perspective of dance and studying the movements of our labor, and then creating choreography with community participants. Tracy Williams is a Squamish weaver who is very invested in relearning her traditional ancestral technologies and bringing that into contemporary daily living. We did some processing of mountain goat wool and eagle down that Tracy has been gathering for a number of years and assisted her in fiber blending and spinning that for regalia making. Each season had either a particular agricultural focus as well as what plants were just growing that we could be foraging and processing. Every step of the process is really physical, but also has a really specific rhythm. We started playing around with having the idea of a processing band and what that would sound like. Mirae at this point was really experimenting with what was coming off of the spinning wheel, how lines would be drawn out. And Rebecca Duncan came in and joined us for the project.
A certain way you put the tongue.
As a Squamish language holder, she was able to bring some of the language of this place back to the land through creating a song that we commissioned. Shleshla Kwaheus is a word that means how our lines are all connected. Connected to each other, to the land, to our ancestors, and it really embodied what this project was about reconnecting to place, and also this idea of lines, and that coming back to thread. Shoes became a really obvious point to connect both the dance and the making and weaving. The idea of how our feet touch the land, how we're grounded and connected to the land, and certainly for dancers, feet became really relevant. We really found opportunities to celebrate every step of the process. We literally danced the fibers from the land back across the landscape. Our current consumptive habits are not sustainable. As we've become industrialized, things have become more and more globalized, and people are now becoming aware of what's been lost in that process, and that idea of looking locally to creating our own culture, locally to growing our own food. What are the things that are the essence of a particular area? How can we acknowledge that, support that, celebrate it? The Cloth Project has been beautiful for all of the seasonal opportunities that it's provided to bring groups of people together and have these really exquisitely beautiful times to be outside in the city working together in the land. And that has been an incredibly beautiful and poignant opportunity for all of us involved.